Uh-oh. All right, we're on. I think we're live, folks. Well, welcome to the Worldwide Slot Car Chat via Zoom and YouTube, number 248. The usual folks are here. We got Mike and Luff, Don, Jim, Phil, Dan, Garth, Courtney, John, Dewan, Jeremy, someone who doesn't have any vowels, Bob, and Tom. So we're all here to talk slot cars. So let's start it off. Oh, by the way, I'm the substitute host. I'm sort of the Joan Rivers to Greg Gobb this week again. But please put your virtual hand up or real hand up, and I guess we can start with show and tell. Jim, are you ready, sir?
Yeah, just a quick announcement. The people on YouTube, Greg mentioned it. It always starts at 11 a.m. or 4 p.m. Pacific time. On YouTube today, it was announced at 2 p.m., which was wrong. So it's always 11 a.m. or 4 p.m. Public service announcement.
I guess it was timely. Couldn't help it. Couldn't help it. Sorry, couldn't help
You.
Well, has anyone got anything they want to show and tell? Or debut and skew? Oh, John, have you got something?
Yeah, a couple of things.
Oh, good.
Kind of get warmed up with.
Okay.
Hopefully get warmed up. One of them is what's on the back here behind me.
Oh, that looks like a chaparral.
Yeah, it's a Hawk chaparral. The one with the headers that come out of the engine cover and are on top. They're not buried inside the engine cover, inside the engine compartment. Hold on. Let's see here. We've got it right here. Unfortunately, it's not complete. It had been assembled. It has some damage, but a bit of trivia. Does anyone trivia question? Anyone know why those headers came out that way and what that signifies? That means this particular car is a certain type.
Yeah, actually, I have in the chaparral book. It was just part of the development process. They thought that they'd had to have manifolds and direct the exhaust out, and then they just went to organ pipes after that.
Okay. Another thing. I probably posed my trivia question incorrectly, but anyway, I'll just pile it on here. This configuration, best I can tell from Dave Friedman's book about chaparral, was the only configuration used for the manual transmission. They used a Colati gearbox. Chaparral. The ones with the automatics were what we're more used to seeing without being able to see either the organ pipes or there was apparently some with the headers and long exhaust pipes that exited out the rear. Not this model.
Right. Yeah. By the time of the 2G, the pipes went out the back. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I thought this was kind of interesting. Penske drove this car. I say this car. Penske drove the manual transmission car and won a couple of races with it. And then I guess they got the bugs worked out of the automatic and the installation, and that was the end of that. But it represents this particular time in chaparral production.
And I think they also used the wobbly wheels too. They hadn't gone to the cast spokes yet for that car.
Yeah, were those Cooper wheels or
Lotus
wheels? Or...
They were Lotus. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Lotus wobbly magnesium wheels.
Yeah, I intend to make this into a slot car, and I was trying to identify what wheels those were that they used early on. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. And Russ, rivet counter nuts. Something else. Something else is acquired a new copy or newer copy of a book I've had for a long time. It's a really nice get down to it Ferrari book. And this is I think the last edition, the 1976 version, copyright. The one I have is a 72 or something like that. And they added a few little things, but this one's in better shape than mine. Mine's gotten beaten up a bit. But anyway, it's like I say, it's a nice book down and lots of facts. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of specifications. I like for these kind of reference books to have specifications, wheelbase. You can look all that stuff up now on the internet, and you have to assume that it's accurate, which is probably a bad assumption. I think most of the time it is, but anyway, I like for them to have, wheelbase, track dimensions, overall dimensions, all that kind of stuff. That's what you need to try to do modeling with, I think. Anyway, that's the scale modeling. That's all I had.
Cool. Well, thank you, John. That's awesome.
Okay.
Mr. Rose, what do you have for us, sir?
Well, I built a couple new cars this week, sort of. The first one is a repaint. This used to be a a Marlboro style livery, but I used the wrong red and I didn't like it. So I stripped it down. I did an okay job. You can see over here a little bit, it's showing through, but from a couple of feet you can't tell. And decided to do one of the Porsches, because it is a Porsche, even though it's not a 917. And so that is a new livery on an old car, and detailed the interior. Came out pretty nice, I think, all things considered. So I may try it again and do it where this bottom rocker panel is silver, like a lot of the cars had in that era. I think it would set it off just a little bit more, and probably use a more brilliant white. This is a pretty accurate picture, I think, of to me a racing white, which is not pure white. So it works good on some cars. I think if I had to do it over again, I'd change it a little bit. So I had to build another car because I sold my Corvette C8 to a friend of mine. And so for GT3 in Northern California, I decided to build another Corvette out of a white kit. And ironically, this one is going to have the Marlboro livery in a more brilliant color. So I think it looks better, whether it's accurate or not. I don't really care personally. And so that's the body. The interior, which you'll probably never see again. I did the seat belts like I typically do with the Indy decals, and just used the stock helmet, painted the visor black. So I didn't do a whole lot to it. Painted the gloves red, but it looks okay. And can't see much of it because it's all inside. So there's the finished car ready to race. And we are running these this week. I got blasted for having non-scale numbers. I go, they are scale, they're HO numbers. And the real reason I did that is I didn't have any correct size numbers. I want to get some numbers that have either IMSA or the World Endurance Challenge, that placard or background or whatever, not just a roundel type number. So a more realistic looking numbers. But I had those, so I meet the requirements. I have 3 numbers. And we have a race this weekend, and there's the cars ready to go. We're not running Can-Am this weekend. We ran it last weekend. So this weekend at Silicon City Speedway, we got Revo, Group C Porsches only, a new class he's done, GT3 and Formula One. So I do have some Club Corner, but I'll save that till later. So that's it, sort of new stuff.
Sorry, so you're racing all those cars this coming weekend?
Yeah, we run on the home tracks. We have crowds anywhere between 8 and 14 or 15. So we have time to run 4 classes, typically. So yeah, we're running those 4 classes. I have more Group C cars, but I only have one Group C Porsche. And he's specifying that it has to be Porsches this weekend. So my Jaguar will sit home.
Very cool. Well, you did a nice job on that Corvette. Your masking is really very good.
Well, I went out and finally bought some. I ran out of the Tamiya masking, the little thin tape. And so I went to the hobby shop and got the right stuff. So there's very little bleed over on that one.
Cool. Very, very nice. And I like the small numbers.
I don't mind the small numbers, but they'll probably make me change it. And that car specifically, it's the white kit, and the white is still the white plastic. So there's very little paint on it. There's red paint on it, and there's a clear coat overall. But the white plastic kits are a little off white, but when you clear coat them, they look fine.
I think that Marlboro color scheme has changed a lot through the years. It looks the same, the sort of a chevron breakup pattern, but the one I remember most is a hot. It's a hot red, like almost fluorescent. It's not fluorescent. It's not neon, but it's really, really super.
Yeah, this works. This is to me a bright red, and it works fine. One of our guys at the last race at the home track when we ran F1, he had the Marlboro livery in yellow and white. And somebody said, "Well, that's not real." He goes, "Yeah, that was a real car that KK Rosberg. I think it was a one-off drive."
But it was. In fact, that's the one that
Yeah.
Chris keeps showing us. Yeah.
Yeah, in yellow and white. That was a real car. One of the guys said, "Oh, it's not real." I go, "Yeah, it was." So,
well, your Corvette looks good, though, I think.
Thank you. And I changed the wheels. It comes with the BBS stylish wheels, but I still like 5-spoke wheels on GT cars. So that has Ford P68 inserts in it, painted silver. So I like them better. And if it's not scale, I don't care.
That's cool. Very, very cool. And who would be next? Mike, are you ready, or do you have anything? Oh, you're muted, sir. You're muted.
A change. I'm muted. The only thing I wanted to talk about is the observation that I had with you with the Mustang, the latest Scalextric Mustang. Let me get it back together here. And the front wheels are off now; they're being trued. What's wrong with this picture? And I'll give you a little hint.
Quarter windows.
No, because the original ones had just the solid fastback like that. They put a plate in, so that's not necessarily a problem. The problem that, as I see it, is how deep the side panels are. The complete thing, it's according to my measurements,
or aren't.
Yeah, or aren't.
How deep they aren't.
Exactly the opposite problem that MR Slot Car's 57 Corvette has. It's not deep enough. And the problem is I can't unsee it once I did. So it's like, Anyway.
But they had that huge belly pan, big black belly pan, real deep underneath.
Yeah.
The plastic could have gone anywhere. It's plastic. They could have, makes no sense. Yeah.
Yeah. They just didn't make them deep enough, and it should be the side panels should be deeper than the rear, and yet they put them so that if you don't put it on the chassis, it looks fairly decent. But you put it on the chassis, and it's like, oh, that's just wrong.
It's not like they couldn't find a photograph of a Mustang.
Oh my God.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I know.
Antarctica.
Or maybe even a real car and measure it.
Yeah, really. God forbid. But according to my measurements, it's got about 8 inches of ground clearance.
Sorry, what was that, Garth?
I was just wondering if the body would work if you made a chassis for it.
Well, the body is the problem itself. The side panels are not deep enough.
Okay. So even if you made your own chassis, it still would be not
right,
deep.
It would still be too high.
Mm.
Anyway,
Can you show it again, Mike?
Sure.
Oh, hang on. Let me pin it for you. Hang on. One moment, caller.
So the rocker panel ends even with the rear axle line.
Yeah, which is not right.
Right.
It's not
correct.
far off from what the real car really is.
Pardon me?
It's not far off from what the real car actually is.
Okay. Far
Mhm.
enough for the eye, though, in my view. But, oh, if you look,
It's not far off. I don't disagree that it's not perfect, but it's not far off.
yeah, no, it's about 2.5 inches, I think. It's like they raised the car 2.5 inches, and it's accentuated by the fact that the wheels that come on it are oversized. Besides, they're about what would be an inch and a half oversized in scale. So that's part of it. Anyway, I noticed it, and for those that are thinking of buying it as a car to race, it's garbage. It really is a terrible slot car. It's pretty narrow, it's pretty high.
It's got the sideways motor, right?
Yeah, it's got a regular Sidewinder motor.
No, but it's in sideways. It's not laying down.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the standard sideways position.
Oh, I thought it was standing on its side.
No, it's not. No, it's in the regular position, which is a positive, I think. But yeah, it's
kind of looks like the Cougar.
yeah. They did change it so that you only have one screw mount in the rear, which is becoming standard now. So that's a positive. The rear axle is really loose on this particular one, and I'm gonna change it. And it's enough bad that you can feel the gear mesh go bad on it when you're turning it. If you put any force on it. So anyway, it's interesting because it's like 2 steps forward and at least 3 steps back. Because it looks like they changed the chassis design a bit. If you look at it, it's braced a little bit and it's definitely stiffer, but I don't know if that's a good thing on these cars. I think that a less stiff chassis, at least for plastic tracks, is better. But just my personal opinion on that. So anyway, that's all I got for that.
I think it looks taller too because on the slot car you can see the bottom of the slot car chassis, which kind of makes it look taller.
Yeah.
As opposed to the real car, when you look under it, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Wait, Mike, can you hold it back up?
Which?
The blue
The
car.
chassis or the whole thing?
The chassis and body.
Hang on.
Because in that picture of the real car, I'm trying to look at the center of the wheel to kind of see how far off it is from the body. So the center of the wheel, and then yeah, it's up the edge of the blue body is just up a little bit. Okay. Oh well, I guess if you're buying scale electric, you're not paying for performance.
Yeah. Well, it kills me though. I mean,
I know.
the electrics and slotted are almost the same price now. I mean, for an extra $5, you get so much more car. It's ridiculous. But this was one of those, like, I'm a kind of a Ford and a Shelby guy, as well as a Porsche guy, and I really sort of had to have it to go along with my Cobras. To have the 3 of them, the Cobra 289 and the Daytona Coupe, which is my favorite car of all time, and the Mustang seemed like a good idea. So anyway, that's all I got.
Cool. Well, thanks, Mike. And Phil, what have you got for us today, sir?
Oh, well, this one's not quite finished, but it's very close. And we've got an early sports car series starting shortly.
All right.
Well, actually, last week it started. This one didn't quite get finished in time. It's obviously got no headlight covers at the moment, and it's got no knockoffs, but the wheels are rather beautiful looking. I can't get them quite. There we are, a bit more in focus there.
It's a bread van, right?
It certainly is a bread van.
Yep.
Yeah, it needs a bit of a tidy up at the moment, but yeah, it, as I said, didn't quite get finished, so I ended up running a Bizzarini. That body is 3D printed off a resin printer. And all it's had no filler put on it, just painted straight over the resin printer.
Really, straight
off the printer and prime it and paint it.
Wow.
The quality you get.
Which primer do you use, Phil?
I just use normal automotive primer. I use nothing but automotive acrylics. Yeah, because it's nice and hard, dries in less than an hour and you're finished. Yeah. The other thing about it, 3D printed chassis.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Now the chassis is printed in PETG, so it's reasonably strong. And that's not actually a pod in it. It's just where I didn't assemble them properly on the drawing, on the slicer at the time. The resin I used for that is just any cubic resin in a slight mixture, ABS-like, with a little bit of about 30% tough put in it. Yeah, so, but the quality of the printer, it's a Anycubic 5 Pro, so it gives fantastic results. I've been doing a lot of 24 stuff from a friend, Dave Bandoff, for modelling static models, and he's helped me support with the printer. So yeah, so that's all I've got. Yeah, I ended up running a Bizzarini, John, for your interest, in the first night because this wasn't quite completed. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's all I've got.
Cool. What wheels did you use, Phil? Or the inserts? I'm not sure which. You know.
No, they're aluminium wheels from Pendle. They weren't focused quite right there, but I either use the ones from Pendle or they both come from Pendle. One's Pendle slot, and the other ones are Mythos, and they're very, very nice wire imitation wheels. These are only 6mm wide, so as they should be for the class we're running. And they come with photo etch knockoffs to go on them when they get fitted. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
those
I like. Pardon, Mike?
Are those inserts?
No, they come completely assembled in the wheel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I take it there's some sort of pressed-in inserts. I've never tried to get them out because they're too delicate to get out.
Yeah, you would think.
And they come with a choice of 2-year or 3-year knockoffs. They're not cheap, but I think they make the car. I think with these early sports cars, you really got to have the wheels. I see a lot on the forums with people putting too wider wheels on them and they don't look right. Yeah, whereas the 6mm seem to work quite well on these cars. So, yeah, that's all I've got.
I was going to say, Phil, that's a great print. Where did you get the file?
What for? The body?
Yeah, for the body. Yeah, sorry.
Yes. It either come off Colts 3D or from Vlad. I'm not sure. I think it came from Vlad.
Okay.
Last year sometime. Sent it to me. Yeah, actually, I'm sure that's where it come from. Yeah, so.
That's a really nice print, especially that you went straight to like this. The surface looks really smooth.
I wouldn't. It is. They are fantastic. I'd never go back to filament for bodies. Filament's great for chassis because you can get the strength in them, but for body quality, no, the resin printing's the answer. It's really good. Yeah, really, really great. Yeah.
And incident, how long did it take to print, if you don't mind me asking?
Depends on the height of resolution. I printed that at 0.2 resolution, and I think it was about 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
On that. So it takes a fair while, but I have them set up at about 20 degrees angle too, so you don't get any layer lines in it. So I paper it up.
Is it nose up or tail up? Sorry.
Tail up.
Question.
So you get a little bit of support around the bottom here that you've got to clean off. but by keeping them up that way, you get very little other marks on it at all from the supports. Yeah, and very easy to clean up. So no, it's great. And as I said, I'm doing a lot of 24 stuff for David. I mean, he does a fantastic job of finishing them off too, because he's a modeler. I'm not.
Oh, it looks good though. Looks great. Now, have you run it? Sorry.
Yes. The first night I took it along, and as I said, it wasn't quite finished. So I loaned it to one of the other guys to run, and it needs a little bit more tuning, but not bad. I ended up running my Bizzarini, which I made the chassis for last year, and had done a little bit of racing. But it was getting a bit dilapidated and intended to build a new car, but time got in the way. Time and life get in the way, and it's not good for slots, that's for sure. Yeah, that's all I've got anyhow. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Phil. Lenny, another wonder from down under. What have you got for us, sir?
Yeah, not quite as far down under as Phil is, but yes. Good morning, everybody. It's 11 o'clock here in Adelaide, South Australia.
Slow as usual and behind the times.
You've got some idea you're in Victorian times, mate.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, good morning, Phil.
Morning, Alan.
Our Thursday night Carrera group that I for some reason I took up racing with are introducing NASCARs. I've already done it. I've already had one race. Once a month we run the NASCAR class. And so I got talked into entering one, so I bought one of these. And when I had a look at the rest of them, about half a dozen of them have got the same car. So I thought, no, I've got to do something about that. So it got deconstructed down to that. And then it went for a swim in the methylated spirits for a day. And it came out looking like that. And after several coats of primer and white paint, trying to find the right colour white, because it came out cream at one stage for some reason, came up with this. So I've now got a Shane Van Gisbergen Chev Camaro, which nobody else has got. So I was stickers are courtesy of Pato. They didn't quite fit. They're a little bit oversized, I thought. They were 32nd scale, but I think they're designed to fit his vac form bodies, which might be a little bit bigger than the Carrera car. But that's it. It's not quite finished yet. We're racing Carreras tonight, but I won't be racing that one. So, yeah. So I just thought I'd show you that, just for something different.
Very
I think
nice.
it's a bit of an improvement on the previous colour scheme, but there you go.
Now, have you done? Did you guys do anything to the Carrera chassis or anything?
No, it's all got to be, the chassis all got to be stock.
Stock, okay.
You can change the rear tyres. You can put a urethane tyre on the back, and I think the front tyres are free as well. You can change them for a low profile. I went fishing into my box of plastic wheels and tyres and came up with a set of Ninko GT tyres that I trued up. So, but apart from that, it's got to be standard. It's not quite finished yet because, as you can see, there's no interior in it yet. I've got a few little touch-ups to do, but hopefully it'll stand out above the crowd. And
do you have to keep the stock interior, or can you make a lightweight interior? Or?
No, it's all got to be standard. It's really an intro class. I don't know what the hell I'm doing there, but I just decided to go and have a go at somewhere else. Low sort of stress top racing that I'm not having to run myself at my track. So it's sort of a foot in the door back into commercial track racing.
Okay, but it sounds like it's maybe more of a driver's series than a car series then.
Yeah. Oh no, they've still got the magnets in them.
Oh geez.
So I've gone over to the dark side. So you got to run the standard magnets. And although the track we're racing on tonight doesn't have magna braid, so that'll be interesting watching all the mag racers coping with natural downforce.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, look, it looks really good. Did you?
Yeah, it didn't quite come out as well as I would have liked. I couldn't quite get it everything to fit properly. So
Well,
I've
I'm
had to
amazed. I'm amazed at how white it looks
striping down a
considering.
bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm amazed at how white it looks considering it's yellow plastic.
Yeah, there's several coats of undercoat on there, and I used an automotive paint to start with, Duplicolor, white color, Holden white color, just so Phil,
Yuck.
just so Phil knows there's some Holden in it.
Should have been a Ford colour, Alan.
No, that'd be orange, wouldn't it? But yeah, and eventually I shot a couple of shots of Tamiya Pure White over the top, and then I'm going to clear coat it this afternoon when I'm finished here.
Are those the new stickers, or are they water slide decals?
No, they're the peel and stick ones.
Ah, okay, cool.
So I'll just clear
They look
coat
good.
over the top. You don't notice that they peel and stick from 10 feet away, so
Right.
I've always subscribed to the 10-foot rule with the slot car. If it's
Yeah.
okay for 10 foot, it must be okay.
Yeah, you never know with that Duplicolor whether it bleeds through plastics or not. Certain bodies seem to bleed and others don't.
Yeah, well, this was coming out. You could still see a bit of a green tinge from the green plastic.
Yeah.
So it's got about 5 coats of white on it, and it's now going to get a coat of automotive clear.
Yeah.
Super cheap auto, sort of. I don't know what the American equivalent of that is. They need to do a nice clear coat.
Yeah, nice and strong.
I don't think they make it anymore. I think they've stopped making it. But yeah, so that's it for me for show and tell. I'll just say g'day to Nick V if you're watching. I know he's a regular. He always tells me he's watching. Thought it was quite funny that I had an asthma attack last time I was on. So yeah, all right, I'll get out your way. I'll stop sharing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Where are we?
Cool. Now, anyone else have anything else to share? Or
I can't work out how to stop the share. I'll do that.
oh, I did. Yeah.
Oh, you're a good man.
Yeah, no worries.
I've got one other little thing to show you, John. There's another
Okay, Phil, hang on.
another 3D printed body.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow, it looks
Now
good.
that's just had a shot of white over it. It needs a little bit of sand, this one. This is Lenny's problem. He started this. he sent some vac form bodies down for me to do a chassis for, and unfortunately heart attack and a few other things got in the way, but he got me sort of inspired, and that's a 3D printed Camaro, obviously.
Oh, very nice.
Which will be for our next Aussie supercar series, as we call it here. Yeah.
So is that a NASCAR body or a road car body?
No, supercar body.
Okay.
It's made to go. It's the same dimensions as a Scale X V8 Falcon and Holden.
Oh, right.
I think of chassis I made up to go underneath it. Yeah.
We're set to debut our V8 class next season. Just finalising.
It needs a little bit of tidying up around the back here at the moment, but yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's all.
I'll show the V8s later when we're ready to run them, I guess. But yep, all right. I'll get my hand down first. Hang on.
Oh, I got it for you. No worries.
Ah,
I'm here to help. I am tech support today, so I'm here to help.
that's what they say at the FIA. Hello, I'm from the FIA. I'm here to help.
Yeah. That's cool. So if we haven't got any other show and tells, anybody have some club racing to report on? Oh, there's Michael. I just see this large finger coming at us here.
Yeah, that would be me. Hang on a second. I got some share.
Oh, you actually have some photos and stuff to share?
Yes, I do.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. Oh, darn it. Thought I had more pictures, but let's go back. This is the second race I had. And those of you who listen to me for a while know that I've been having trouble with the RCS 64 app. Well, we had a good day. We had no problems at all. With the exception of the first race, I had a little bit of trouble with the ghost cars wanting to go super fast, to the point where they were magnet cars were going off the track because they didn't have enough magnetism and they had too much power. So luckily, within the PC Lap Counter race management, I can adjust the pace cars on the fly. So if somebody went off, which Joel is nearing, I haven't counted yet, but I think he's nearing the record that Shiggy had, which I think was 19 offs in a race. And I think Joel is coming close to that. But during a track call, I can adjust the speed of the pace cars so that they are slowed down enough to do that. And then in the second race, this is the Group C race, I adjusted them in the original part of it, and we had no problems whatsoever. It was as smooth as glass race, just, absolutely wonderful. Unfortunately, the guys had a little bit of off-itis, and I didn't. So I took both races. But the first race, this is the second race, a Group C race that we ran, and it was the Porsche and the Sauber. Now, the way we work this, I'm sure I said this before, but we do a blind choice on who gets which car. I pick 3 cars, I put them in a row, I hide them, and they pick first, and I get whatever's left. So in this case, both Shiggy's and my cars were really, really close, within, I think, 0.12 of a second on lap times in the qualies. So it was a close race from the beginning, but Shiggy just didn't hold on, and I was channeling Ratby and just kept the thing on the track, and it worked out well. So that was a good thing. And in the first race we did, I've got 3 of the Mercedes 300 SL pigs. And while I get it, here's the results of that race. You can see there that Shiggy finished with 7 liters of fuel left. Well, almost everything. And that's when you get the warning. Usually, I've set the fuel usage so that you use about 5 liters per lap, and you have a 150-liter tank. So it's probably a little bit off in that regard, but it works out for about every 25 laps we have to make a pit stop for fuel. And of course, further adjustment is made because you can adjust the number of movements of the controller it takes to burn 1 liter of fuel. So you can adjust that number whatever you want. So I can really dial in a balance of performance so that we're on an equal basis pretty much all the time. And it's really kind of cool. So the way that works is that if it takes fewer clicks, in other words, fewer segments of the controller to drive your car, you burn more fuel. So then you have to come in sooner. And then you have adjustments for the tank size, and that's it. So that adjusts your burn rate. Oh, excuse me. You have adjustment for your tank size and the number of the amount of liters of fuel you burn per lap. So you have a lot of adjustments there for dialing it in to make it more realistic or less realistic or whatever you want to do. So I know Gio runs his races so that they have enough fuel for about half the race, maybe a little bit less. And that way they will drop for fuel and get a half tank of fuel rather than the full tank, because that way they go faster. Because the cars go slow when you've got a full tank and then gradually get faster and faster. So his thinking is that it's more realistic to have a longer period of time where the fuel is dropping that way, and that changes it. And that way you can decide whether you want to do half tank and go fast, or full tank and take advantage of the extra time you might have in fuel. So it puts a little bit of strategy into it, and I like that a lot. So anyway, that's all I got. Unfortunately, I didn't get the pick of the Mercedes 300S SELs, but they're just standard, well, not so standard Carrera cars. They've been breathed on quite a bit, and I've had a lot of weight put in them recently. I got them again, and they actually became pretty decent stock cars. So I titled the video, "Can Pigs Fly?" And I said, yes, they can. so, so they did. Okay, that's all I got.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. Let me just stop your. Oh, you did it. Well done,
Did it.
Mike.
Yeah,
Wow.
sometimes my finger isn't working on this thing. My iPad doesn't like my finger for some reason.
Ah, okay.
Maybe
No
I've been using the middle one too often to it.
Yeah, yeah, it's the old fickle finger of fate thing, right?
Yeah. And
Mr.
just
Rowe.
waiting for it to tell me F you too.
Thanks again, Mike. Jim, what have you got for us, sir?
We had our Sunday race at Motown last week, and we ran 3 classes, which we typically do at the commercial tracks. That is Ian Douglas's car from the NSR race we had a couple weeks ago, and he ran it again. Very nicely done, obviously. And here is the first race, which we ran qualifying in heats. My car is the Aston Martin, which was very similar in speed to the faster Corvettes, but I had some issues, both self-inflicted and non-inflicted, so I ended up not finishing the race. But here's the podium for that. As you notice, all 3 NSR Corvettes. We are having an NSR Corvette race at Motown in September, 2-day NSR race sponsored by Professor Motors. So I think we'll see even more Corvettes showing up. In that race, you'll be able to choose any flavor of Corvette that NSR makes. So with 3 cars available. Second class was Can-Am, which I showed you my car that I built for that, it was the same car, just the body was repainted. And the Thunderslots used to be the dominant car, but now it's gone all the way over to the NSR 908s. I had one fairly heavy crash into other people and tore the interior out, or didn't tear it out, but loosened the interior and the engine cover. And so that's the way the car finished. I limped home the last two heats and was able to get the win in that class. And our last class of the day was the Classic Le Mans, like we ran for the 2-day race a couple of weeks ago. And P68s dominate this, as you can see from the numbers, as well as you can see from the podium. So Ian got a win, I got a win, and Braden got a win in the 3 classes that was spread out this time. So Motown's going really well. We're going to have an MR slot car race sponsored by MR Slot Car and Electric Dreams in May, and then the Professor Motor Corvette race in September. So, and we race there twice a month. So things are going great at Motown. We're getting 15 to 18 people on a regular basis now, so that's very good for us. So it's going well. That's about it.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Looks like you guys were having a ball.
I did, except for the first race, yeah.
What now, was that streamed at all or no?
No, but he's going to start live streaming very soon. He live streamed the NSR race, and it looks like what's going to happen, because he's building his YouTube channel, so it's a work in progress. It looks like I may live stream 1 or 2 races for him on my channel to get the viewership up and get more people over to his channel. So most likely the March race, which I think is March 1st, will be live stream on NorCal Slot Car Scene. And then once he establishes that and gets more the viewership up, then it'll be his. It's not mine, but I volunteered to do that to help him start his YouTube channel. So if that does happen the way we plan it, I will announce that on my channel that this particular race will be live streamed on NorCal Slot Car Scene.
Well, that's cool. I mean,
I think he's got 6 cameras now, including the scoreboard is inset in I think it's the upper right of the screen, and then the automatic switching cameras. I think there's I'm not sure if there's 6, but there's quite a few. Not quite as elaborate as Electric Dreams, but getting close. And if Ian and I are there, there is a live commentary. So depending on when we're racing and who's there. So he's trying to, make it much more as professional as possible, given the budget and everything else.
Well, that's very cool. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be neat.
Labor
Very
of love.
Yeah, oh, for sure. No kidding.
Yeah, just like YouTube channels, you can make tens of dollars doing this.
Oh yeah, no. You just you do it because you wanna have fun and show some people how to do some things. That's why, for sure. Wow. Was anyone else racing as of late? They have any other Club Corner news to chat about? Wayne wasn't racing. Wayne, you weren't racing this past week then.
Dewan's racing right now.
Oh yeah, Dewan's practicing. Yep, absolutely. Oh yes, Lenny. Yes, sir.
I had a bit of a run on Friday night with the 24 scale guys at War Raceway. They're running scale auto GTs, and it's probably the worst race of my life. Everything went wrong. Couldn't have got any worse. The first heat, car kept cutting out, especially going through the donut on this track, which is a deadly place to stop. I got slammed a couple of times. And first, I thought it was just a couple of wires touching on the braids. Thought the braids might have been shorting out. So I fixed that up, took the body off, got all that sorted out, put the car back on the track for the next heat. Continued doing it. When I realised it was probably the controller. So somebody loaned me a controller. Got going again, and way down. I was about 50 laps down by then, but I kept going just for the fun of it. And then the next heat, going up the donut again, the car just stopped dead. I went, "Oh, what's happened to it this time?" Motor had slipped out of mesh, and yeah, so it stopped again. So I had to once again take the car off the track, take the body off, fix the motor, redo the mesh, get it going again. And then it was about the third to last heat, I got slammed by a car that was lapping me. I let him past, and then he lost it going into the next corner and took me out. Took the rear wing off, broke the front end. Managed to get it to the finish, but I was second to last in the end. It was only one of my mates that finished last because he gave up because he got sick. He got tired of getting slammed all the time. It was pretty brutal on that track with those cars. But yeah, so that was probably the worst race I've ever had anywhere. But it was like I'd run over a black cat or something. Anyway, that's it. That's my bit.
Cool. Well, I see since Dewan is practicing and working on that finger muscle, are you doing anything with your group, the Far Road group?
Yeah, we'll race this Saturday. So yeah, that's what I was doing, testing out my cars, trying to figure out which one of the 3 different cars for the 2 different classes I was going to be using. And that kind of brings up a point. How do you guys practice and prepare for a race? And how do you, obviously you're going to select the best car you feel going forward, but do you have any type of routine that you go through to kind of get tuned up and selecting, the best candidate to and what will be the best practicing techniques you guys might be interested
I know Wayne has a banana.
in? So, yeah, because we have we're doing a slotted GTM class, and I have 3 cars that I'm debating on. I tried proving Mercedes 190, and I have an Opel Kadett, and I actually have 2 Opels. So, but yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, Dewan, you raise a really good point because I mean, you can practice all you want on your track, but perhaps the other tracks you're going to have different characteristics and may not be the best for the car that's best for your track.
So I do take the both. I do try. I kind of narrow down and get a feel for how each of the cars drive, per se, or how I drive them. How the cars drive, and then I do it in one direction, and then I completely change it and do it in the other direction to try to get to switch it up and come up with different because I have a favorite direction, and this kind of gets me better to go in the wrong direction that I don't like, and But yeah, that and then the car that stays on the most that I have a little more control of is kind of the factor. So I'm keeping stats. So I'm keeping stats. How many times that what I just did just now was 50 laps, and I want to see how many times I came out with the 190 versus the Opal, and what was my fastest time and the two different cars. So I just whatever it took me to get to 50 laps and how long it took me to get to 50 laps and all that. So
Now, are you using the same controller that you would if you were
yes.
competing?
I'm using a compressor motor controller to say we have these are our slated controllers. So I do all my work on the spec controller that we have because I have lots of other controllers. I have my SCP controller here. I have the Falcon controllers. I have some. Uh, honestly, I have the Revell push controllers.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite. The doorbell. That's my favorite.
So, but yeah, I'm practicing with the type of controls we're going to be using to try to keep what the brakes and you know the characteristics of the same controller. So that's my process. But I'm open for suggestions on better practices of ways of doing things like that. So anybody out there want to pitch in and tell me some tips?
Well, I just usually just pick one car for a class and then concentrate on that. I don't take multiple cars.
Yeah.
And that way you've only got one car to worry about for each class.
Yeah.
So in the case of the group twos, I'd pick the Opel Cadet because that's what I've got. And just concentrate and setting that up at home and then take it in and try it on the other track, see how it goes.
Right.
Well, just watching Courtney here, it seems that most here spend more time tuning than perhaps actually driving.
You have to when you don't have a track.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but Courtney has a track though. You've got a track, yeah.
Yeah, I have a track. I mean, I'm not every day, but pretty darn close. We have a big flexi car race this week, Saturday. So it's called our Flexi Challenge. And so to get ready for that, really what I do is I maintain my controller. I'll take it apart, clean it, oil it, make sure there's no wires bound up, because that's the one thing I don't want to work on race day. But I mean, my plastic car track keeps my trigger finger moving. But yes, I'm tuning on everything. I see a new proxies announced, so I start rummaging through the plethora of cars and all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is fast. This will work. So right now I've never done a silicone. I've done one silicone tire proxy. I did not do well. They're getting ready to do one, and so I've got my car running ghost laps on a scale electric circle. So because they say those silicone tires need lots of miles. So to get ready for a big race, but the banana thing is for real. I'll take 2 or 3 bananas. I drink that hydration water. I try not to eat any sugar. I have a problem, so I won't eat any sugar on race day. No if they have pizza, I'll have a granola bar. So
in other words, you're trying to put yourself in a state of ketosis when you're racing.
exactly, because the red mist. It's a real thing, John.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Oh yeah, I know.
Why they feed us? They feed us donuts and pizza each one of our fire races. So I guess that's the mindset. Give everybody donuts and pizza and and the ones
That's right.
don't perform well. Okay, I have to keep that in mind.
2 bananas and a sugar-free Red Bull.
Well,
There you
yeah,
go.
and if you're providing beer for your competitors, there's another tell right there.
Yeah, nothing helps like a quart of Labatt's.
Well, I was gonna say if it's Canadian beer, you'd be on like face down on the track. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no worries. And if they've named it, the Dean Martin Speedway, that's another tell.
That's a whole, yeah, you have to drive with a cocktail in one hand.
Yeah, and a cigarette.
Yeah.
The Dewan, is it a track you've been to before?
Yeah, it's gonna be at the Stephen Jones's Faro Club.
You have your notes from last time, what you did?
Well, we had different classes. So we did, we had 12 cars that we, class cars, we only do two. So they make sure that we switch up and, it's probably a year before you kind of get back to the same car at the same race, the same track rather. So it's not,
What's the other class?
the other
DTM?
class. No, it's the Ninko Classics. So that one I got pinned down. I already knew which car I'm going to use for that. I have this Corvette that it's a good 1 second faster than the other alternative. So and it handles better. So that's a no-brainer. I don't have to,
The one, is it a plastic track?
no, it's a wooden track and it's
Oh, it's a
got
wood track. Okay.
wood track. So yeah, but
Rubber tires or urethane?
these are all well. These are no, these are all rubber. Okay, because one of them will use Ortmans. So I'm trying to remember if they use Ortmans on the Ninkos or not. I think these are just plain old rubber. Yeah, they're all rubber.
Yeah, so I'd pull the body off. I'd get the cooties off of it. I would oil the tires. Are you allowed to oil the tires?
No.
Hold up the Corvette, please, DeWine. I
But
put you on spotlight.
how do they how do they know if you clean your
SR2.
tires with whatever
It is an
3 days
honor
before the
system.
race?
It's an honor system, and if you go outside of the boundaries and it gets caught, then you're expelled from the club.
So what are you allowed to clean your tires with?
A lint roller.
Oh. So you
Okay.
so you can't do the sort of sunbathing lotion that some people have used and all that. No, that's
No foreign substance whatsoever used to even you can't. The only thing you can use is water. I can't remember if one of the classes they've allowed us to use alcohol while truing.
yeah.
That's
No,
it.
I think you misunderstood. They wanted you to drink alcohol while being yeah.
Operating machinery, eh? While drinking.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But no, this is about as box stock as you can get for almost all the cars. And they do have certain classes of cars that like for the Ninkos we're allowed to put lead on the bottom. The other ones is well, we just added this year the ability to put lead in another class, which was the Group C's, and they're talking about putting lead in the sideways, one piece of lead specified in a specific direction, a specific location on the car. And we're also going to, for some of the car classes, we're going to be going to club specific rear wheels. So we'll have to purchase as a group all the same tires. Not yeah, I said wheels, I'm not tires. But so that we know that that the cars have been the same, compounds and everything. So
Do you also have a minimum weight, DeWan, or?
it's just a box stock. And now, like I said, we have two classes that we're adding a tungsten weight and a specific location on those classes, and it's required to have the tungsten weight. So it still just gives us more drivability, but it keeps everybody in the same.
Cool. That's very cool.
Very, very, very strict on things outside of just box stock.
The Ninco Corvette, does it have a front mounted motor?
No, it's a rear mounted motor. We did, and these because we had the NC1s was the specified motor.
Right.
We had to go to an alternative because of the lack of availability of the NC1s. So we're now using a Predator motor, a specified Predator motor. I forgot what the RPM is on it, but those are acceptable in their performance level of the NC1s.
So does anybody have a regular class or proxy or whatever for slot cars with the front mounted motor?
That's a good loaded question. I have no idea.
The old International Proxy Series used to run a subclass for front engine cars when the great black, can't remember his name now.
Well, flies are the only thing that I know. Well, not the only thing, but a lot of flies have the front engine. So what
Electric also.
Yeah,
That car runs good.
a few, yeah.
You can make that car go really fast.
This one still has a magnet in it, but anyway, Yeah, I was just curious about that.
That's cool.
I mean, I personally like building front motored slot cars because it's fun.
Like the real car too,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but it's also it's fun.
Alex Giatanis was the guy that used to run the IPS.
Yes, right, Alex.
Italian
Yeah.
guy.
No, it's in Greece. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
I built one.
He developed
Terrible.
the front garden and then put it in as a class in the series.
Yeah.
I don't think it's run anymore now, is it, Phil? I think it's finished.
Horrible cars.
Well, by comparison.
But if they're all front motored, I mean, it makes it, I guess, an even playing field. So they're all equally not great.
Yeah, and if you're a sadist, it works well.
You're like rebuilding your slot cars after every race.
Well, you were right though. I mean, Fly did that with their Viper, which was one of their first releases because they really wanted to have a model. Yeah.
I think most of their car, if the 1-to-1 car was front engine, like the Vectors and the Marcos and some of those others, that's how they did them. I mean, that's how Fly did them.
They even did a Porsche 911 with the motor hanging out the back.
Yep.
That's exactly right. Yes, they did, and it was a big honking S can too. That's right.
Yes.
The Porsches would have the rear engines, and most of the other ones would typically be front drive.
Is Fly still in business?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not related at all to my question.
They're not in the competitive. They're in the business, but they're not in the competitive racing business. I'll put it that way.
Fly are doing some more collaboration with Scale Auto, aren't they? I think Scale Auto are providing the chassis while Fly do the bodies.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw a recent announcement thing. I think it was Facebook, but anyway, they might have been shown at Nürburg Toy Fair. Nürburg?
Yeah, at the Toy Fair. That
Germany
used to be
Toy Fair.
really. I used to really follow that a lot. And there was really not that much coverage for the last one, really.
Nuremberg. Yeah, that's right. I haven't seen much from it. Just saw some
I
stills.
don't think there's many manufacturers going there now.
True enough. But even from model manufacturers, to your point, Lenny, they didn't have a lot of stuff there. Yeah.
Well, it's probably cheaper just to announce it online instead of packing off to the German, or to where's it, Nuremberg?
Yeah, Nuremberg. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wayne, do you know what models they were looking at for the Scale Auto? What cars?
I can't remember. It was it was some upcoming Fly releases. I don't know. Can't remember.
Okay.
Let me search something.
Maybe some of the hypercars and things that have pretty much been the realm of TA 71. Isn't that the name of it? TA 71.
22.163.
TA 51, something like that. I don't know. Anyway.
We can hear all the one's lap times, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. That's okay. It's interesting to hear, but that's classified information, so I muted it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to worry about the 21.
Well, that's just the outlap. He's just getting the tires warm.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody should tell him if you really want to warm your tires, you got to drive with your brake on a little bit. That'll do it.
Duan, do you have time to test those cars when you get down there? You're muted.
Yeah, I muted him. Sorry. There you go. Yeah, you have to unmute yourself. Sorry, Duan.
Yeah, we get about an hour of racing or practice time, which probably gets because of the number of people that go through there. That probably gets maybe 2 or 3 rounds going through all the lanes.
On the DTMs, I would take 2 or 3 sets of tires and try different sets of tires on the same car.
Okay, I've got you some answers. They fly, they're calling them Evo 3, and they've got 4 rally cars. The first models planned for release are a Lancia 037, a Porsche 934. Sorry, the 037 is in a Martini livery with the red blue stripes on a white car. The Porsche 934 is a predominantly orange Jägermeister livery. They've got an Audi Quattro A2, not S2, A2. So that won't be a short one. That one's in white and yellow. And the BMW M1, which is in the traditional BMW white car with a blue stripe and a blue stripe and a red stripe. So those are the 4 that are coming on a Scale Auto chassis.
Initially, anyway.
Yeah. I can't see a picture of a chassis, but I would expect they would probably have motors in the typical locations rather than the fly locations, shall we say.
So it sounds like more of an announcement of an agreement or a contract.
Yeah, I can tell you what, I can see prototypes of the 037 and the M1, and they've got an RT3 red Scale Auto motorpod in there. I think it's an inline variant. And they've got Sprinter Junior black and green label motors. It's FK180 size motors, big-ish motors there, but they're all in line. Scale Auto red guides, but the body shells in this case are plain white, not painted. So they're just prototype. This was on Slot Forum on the 5th of ish of February, so it's new news. Ish.
But that sounds like it's catering for the Spanish rally.
Yeah,
So-
I think I saw that article. I saw that article also, but it didn't really register with me. It didn't stick because it was all about rally cars. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with
yeah.
it.
So on Feb 9, someone else puts another AI, not AI, fly generated promotional digital digital renders, I think, of some cars in the classic Le Mans categories, where they've got a Ford GT in a pale blue. I don't know if it's Gulf livery, but a pale blue Ford GT40 bearing the number 1, essentially pale blue, orange glass by the look of things. A Ferrari 512 in red. Everything's very, very traditional here, isn't it? As expected. A Porsche 917K in definitely Gulf, which that on that occasion was orange around from the hubs down and a little bit across the nose, with a stripe across its roof in orange too. And a French blue, can I call it that? Lola T70 with some yellow accents on it. So there's some classic Le Mans cars.
This is a great example of turning pictures into prose. How wonderful.
Sorry. Yeah. I wish my phone's not in the chat. Maybe I could just.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know if you had photos or not, or whether it was just.
They are pictures that I'm describing, but let's see whether this works. If I can maximize the picture to my phone screen at all in any way. No, I can't. Does it? How does it
Or
go?
you could put the link in the chat.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, for sure.
I can do that.
Slot forum link.
So are they still being made in Spain, or are they being made somewhere else?
The body shells will be.
Oh, okay.
But the chassis, the chassis are Spanish too.
Yeah, a lot
Where
of those are
manufactured, I
Spanish.
don't know.
Well, to your point, John, it seems to be heavy on the rallying side.
Yeah, at least that first batch, which I don't think rally cars sell very well here. Most places don't carry them.
No,
It's
I
huge in Spain. The slot rallying is very big in Spain. Well, they had
There's a
massive-
scene for it here
Yeah.
too. There's a championship running again.
England, France, Spain, Holland, Portugal, I suppose.
Yeah, I
Some in
imagine
Italy.
and
Yeah.
Scandinavian countries, I would imagine as well, John, you think?
Yeah, yeah.
I know in Spain they go right out. They chuck icing sugar on the track to simulate snow.
Right.
And
Yeah, and cocoa
cocoa powder to
for dirt.
simulate mud.
Yeah. So yeah, basically it's a cup of cocoa on your track, just waiting for the hot milk.
I've seen some guy, some of them use
Courtney would want to stay away from the icing sugar, I think.
Oops. Sorry, John, you said they use cornstarch, and what were you saying, Lenny? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just saying, Courtney might be better staying away from that with all that icing sugar on the track.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I found out that they've also done this before. I've easily found. Oh gosh, why can't I share? The only thing I can share is screen. If I do that,
It's working. It's coming up.
okie
There you
dokie.
go.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
This is from 2022,
Huh.
Wow.
and they did some back then. These are clearly labeled as fly look, but they've got scale auto chassis. The same hardware actually, but they did some sidewinder ones over here. Look.
Yeah.
And those are Fly Classic bodies. That's I think it's a Ferrari and a Porsche there, isn't it, on the right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Or is that a Mercedes? I don't know.
No, that's Porsche 917 and Ferrari BB
512.
512.
David,
Yeah.
David Piper Green, Porsche.
So it's not new. Let me see if I can find on the computer the same thing that I've found with my phone, the new ones. Just speak amongst yourselves, gentlemen. I'll be right
Well,
back.
has Scale Auto only done the 3D printed chassis?
You have to excuse me. I have to step away for about.
No,
15 minutes.
they're molded.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
They're molded chassis. So they've had to make a mold for those. They're very typical Scale Auto. The grey material, complex shapes. Here we go. Okay. I just need to clean this up and hit the share button again. It's just a slot forum post. Useful though. There we go. Can you see me now?
It's coming. There she is.
So I don't know what you call those. They're probably just, they're not renders, are they? They're artist impressions.
Right. Real art.
They look like artwork, don't they?
Yeah.
Which I think is what they typically do, Fly, when they haven't got anything to show you. It might be page 2 of this.
I'm not sure how Fly uses that Evo moniker, but I have one of those Evo 3s, and it's different than the Evo 2 and the
Yeah.
whatever the others.
I also own a couple of those. I've got the Porsche 911 GT1 1998, I think it is.
Right.
Which was their Fly Racing, which is a real out and out race car. It's got a boxer motor, all their own bespoke axle diameters and wheels. I think they were 2.4 millimeter axles. They were really, really sloppy on a slotted axle, for example. You couldn't interchange anything, gears, anything. But boxer motor on a flat pan chassis. Until I found an Evo 3 version of the same car. There's the classic Le Mans look. And the Evo 3 in that case has actually got a motor pod in it with some springs around it. Like a 3-point pivot. It had got a single central pivot at the front of the pod, which was typically about slotted size and shape.
It was all proprietary? You couldn't, nothing was interchangeable?
It was all proprietary, unless you went the whole hog and then replaced
The whole,
The whole running gear. Yeah, you could snap in some alternative bushings and switch. So I think these people are showing other things here now. So yeah, no, the news was this these announcements from Fly. Anyway, that just goes to answer the question: are they still existing, and what are they doing now? Yeah, I've got all the. I did it. I switched the whole thing out to some slotted bushings and slotted axles, and just so that I could get out all the wheel shapes and sizes and one thing and another. And in terms of performance, that Fly Racing Evo 2 chassis is the fastest slot car I own without a motor pod. It's just a fantastic body shell. The chassis I did flatten, although I don't think it was far wrong. It was far wrong. It had a clip-in guide. All of that got replaced by screw-in stuff. I did the whole thing to it, you know. And
the picture I have up now, that's
the one.
That's the Evo 3. And I just those that classic.
My Evo 3, I've never actually gotten to run it. Because I haven't done the same process with it, and they've canned the category at my local club where there is a wood track, which I don't attend very often anymore. But that was the quickest car I ever used around that track, and I would say it's my quickest, even on my plastic tracks with the same setup on it. It's one of the quickest cars I've got without a motor pod. And my Evo 3, it's just a acquisition that's sat there in a box on the bench, sort of waiting for me to make a decision whether to prepare it. I've never had the reason to, because they've canned the class or get rid again.
Yeah.
You've got a decal job on top of the stock yellow body shell, haven't you there?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good. Mine's also that colour, although they were available in a whole range. Reds, pale blues, but they were all one colour, single, no livery bodies.
I don't think I've watched eBay to look for another Evo 3, and I've never seen one that wasn't that color. I don't know why.
Okay.
A lot of the Evo 2s are blue. They all use the same body, but some of them are blue, some of them are a darker color green. Yeah.
I wasn't around at the time when it was launched, but I think it would have been a really good car for its time.
Don Young's has one there. He has it in the box.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've never seen another color, and that's the plastic color. I didn't do anything to mine except clean it and stick the decals on it.
Well, they were out and out buy them and race them cars, weren't they? They weren't intended to be scale models. They were just racing series.
Right, but they're all the same. The Evo 2 body, the difference is in the chassis.
Yes, that's right.
And I suppose the motor. I think they're supposed to have a hotter motor. And I've never run mine, so I don't know. I just had fun building it. So
here's a little story. I made a silly mistake with my one. I bought mine for the body shell, and I made it fit onto a onto a slotted HRS adaptable wheelbase chassis from, oh gosh, it would be 2008, 9, 10, that kind of time.
Mm-hmm.
And to do that, I had to cut the rear body posts off the body shell. And I used it in that capacity back then. And then I moved away from the area, so I didn't race at the club anymore. So when the time came to want to put it back together on its own chassis, I'd got no body posts on the body shell. And so for the first time, I had to fabricate some material that would stick in the body shell and go to town. And what I actually used, and you wouldn't be able to do this anymore, were cotton bud stems or Q-tip stems, which were back then, they were plastic tubes. And nowadays you can't buy a cotton bud with a plastic tube anymore. They're all card or wood, paper.
Well, here you can get them at the dollar, what we call Dollar Tree stores. The cheapest ones you can get, even at Walmart, the cheap ones are the ones with the hollow plastic stems. And
are they? Okay. I think they're probably banned around here now.
With the paper, the the hard paper stems are the more expensive ones.
Yeah, I can't get them. I think they succumbed to the same regulations that killed the plastic drinking straw.
Mm-hmm. It's funny.
So that's what I used, and they've held up. So, but it's a repaired body shell. It's not optimal. It's just lots and lots. In fact, I remember popping those in, securing those, and then popping some PVC tube down the outside of them so that to reinforce the root where they meet the body shell, and more resin and more, more two-part resin, glue, and stuff like that, just to build it all up.
Oh yeah.
And now they're kind of flexible. They're kind of wobbly. They're not as stiff as stock body posts, and they're kind of the body shell. You can actually see it jiggle a little bit whilst it's going over track joints and whatnot on plastic tracks.
Yeah, Don has one of the Evo 2s. That was like a there he's showing that you could get those things pretty cheap for a while. I mean, I didn't pay all that much for my Evo 3, but those you could get those for $20 for a while, maybe on eBay, $25. The Evo 2s. There's tons of them out there too. But
I think I got mine from Pro Tinker Toys.
Yeah.
He used to have a lot of them.
Mine could have come from there. I'm not sure. I don't have a Evo 2.
These I thought were very good running cars too.
So who makes that one?
This is a Fly also.
Okay, it looks like it's from the same category, like a racing.
Oh, it's a Saline.
Yeah.
Saline S7.
Yeah.
But another one with a plain body, a Lexan interior. Can you show us the underneath?
Yeah, it's an Evo 2 chassis.
Yeah, that would run good.
Now, they made two different models of these. They made one that was to set on the shelf, and then they made this one. And the difference is the interior. This one has a Lexan interior in it. The other one had a very detailed
engine
assembly in it. And goodness gracious, if you take it apart, it takes forever to get it put back together. But
it's
the racing ones,
the Evo 3, this Evo 3 has a vacuform interior in it too, rather than a full interior and a full pilot figure, full driver figure.
But these cars run quite smoothly.
Let's see here. Oh.
Anyone seen anything else new? Newly announced? Either cars or tools? I've seen something that's very interesting. I think very interesting to me anyway, as a plastic track racer. I've seen a new device, and if I can just share the screen, it's something I've actually been actively looking for, but this fell across my notifications just quite by accident when I opened Facebook last night. Can you see this magnetic bad bench? Hello? Can you see this? Oh,
Yeah.
good. Thank you. So this is a magnetic downforce measuring device that doesn't measure the weight of the car. It works with a Tesla meter in the side there, and then it looks to me like these are two Hall sensors. In fact, I've requested a copy of the manual for the thing, which is quite a well-written document, but it was in Italian because it's Italian manufactured. And I think it's just a home gamer. I think that there's a PP3 9-volt battery in there, and obviously this on-off switch turns the unit on. I think there's a reset button and a zero button, or a reset button and a zero, or a tear, like a scale would be. But this platform just sits the car on top, and the magnetic downforce is measured by these two sensors, Hall sensors. And this orange piece will lift out of the unit. Don't quite know how you do that, whether or not you pick it up with a magnet or what, or whether there's a handle, I don't really know, but it lifts out. It looks like it turns, and so you can pop it in this orientation for sidewinder motors. Now, that would be an inliner configuration, wouldn't it? With measuring that magnet on the one side and another magnet on the other. And this would be an angle winder config, I think. But it doesn't look like an angle winder. It looks like an NSR angle winder to me. Driving the rear right wheel. Or you can just plop the motor straight onto it like this picture. And it gives numbers in the screen, 2 numbers, one for each magnet in the motor. I'll extend the view.
I saw a review of this. I think it was on Swift Slots.
Oh, really?
Familiar with that? That fellow, he's in UK.
Yeah.
It does pretty good reviews, I think, but he didn't show an image that had that much detail in it.
Well, this is a promo from this is the manufacturer, this is the maker
Right.
who's offering these for sale on Facebook via Facebook. So quite what exactly we're seeing right there, I'm not sure, but there's his manual.
For a second, I thought maybe he had a way to test it with voltage to the car motor, so you could see how much it pulls at full speed at 12 volts. But it looks like it's just
That's
a gauge
interesting.
meter.
Yeah, I that's interesting. It's a test I've never done. Obviously, I've used magnet Marshalls before, and I don't own one, but it would be interesting to note how the magnet downforce changes with the motor running. Yeah. So it's not expensive in terms of magnet downforce measuring machines. I think he wants a base price of €75 and then shipping at whatever it costs to get to your particular location. And it's going to cost 25 to get to me. So for €100, this could be in my possession. The thing is, I don't know how useful, I mean, it's useful for comparison to comparison, but I don't know whether it actually tells me anything about what the tires experience, like a scale version does. I actually want, what I really, really want, I think,
Tell us
is
what you want, what
is
you
one of
really,
those
really want.
one of those magnet downforce measurements devices that uses a scale, but doesn't use the scale to measure the mass of the whole car, but only the rear axle. I hope you understand. I think I want to know how much additional downforce there is on the rear tires, not just how the motor magnet affects the weight, the mass of the whole car. Just the rear tires is what I think I want. I think that would be most useful. I mean, just something new I saw on the old news feed. I thought no one's done that. I'm not aware of anyone else having done that in that way. So it's a toss-up now between something inexpensive that gives me numbers like that, or something a lot more expensive that gives me grams, which seems to be more intuitive.
Well, maybe if he's watching, he'll come on the show and explain it if he speaks English. Reach
Oh, he
out to him.
does. Yeah, I
Yeah,
messaged in
reach out
English
to
and
him.
replied in English, so he does. I
'Cause
don't know.
I saw it too, and at first I thought, oh, this is awesome. I thought it was you could put your car on there at like a 12 volts and disconnect the gear and see how much downforce it pulls. But other than that,
You're right. You could. You'd have to take
that,
your.
it's just measuring like a magnet Marshall, basically, how much downforce you're pulling on an engine. But most competitions, all the engines have to be, or the motors have to be the same. So it's not. I guess you could compare. If you have bought 3 or 4 of them, to figure out which one had the best.
It's not strictly about that per se, I don't think, Jeremy. I think it's about ground clearance. How low can you manage? How low can you go without causing yourself problems on the track?
Yeah.
I've found very little. I mean, I don't measure it a lot, but I've found very little variation. If a motor underperforms, it's normally not underperforming in terms of magnetic downforce. It's underperforming in speed and power. It's normally the armature elements of it that's underperforming, not the grip bit. You know, I think the magnet, I don't know how consistent they are. They're bound to be within, I don't know, a tolerance of, I don't know, it might be 15%, which is significant, really. You just get what you get when you buy one or get one handed out. And I often wonder how much these long endurance races that I do are dictated by the nature of by the fortune you experience when you pick up the handout motor. But if you only need to look at the results to see that the same people come to the top. So in reality, it's about driving ability still. But I have seen teams with capable drivers who literally cannot get their car going around the track with any pace, and they have a miserable event because of it. But it's rare. It does happen, but it's rare.
I've found a significant difference in the amount of downforce that I measure in motors. In the same motors, they can be sometimes 5-7 grams of difference in the amount of downforce they have on the same vehicle.
Okay. So on a scale of measuring 20, if you're getting 5 less or 5 more, that's actually quite significant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So a magnet marshal is a useful tool for me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only really one race where I get a choice. That's the 24-hour, where we typically get 2 motors, and you can choose whether you run the. In many cases, let's put it this way.
Well, I think if you put the motor in and measured it, and it doesn't seem like it's up to par if you measure it, you could probably get another motor in the rules, can't you?
Well, I've done it once in the past, but not for that reason. I had a flat 6 in 2024 in Gio's Porsche, the one that he did with the
Manti.
I don't know the name of it. The one with all the colours that fell off the side, all the coloured stripes that fell off the side of the body shell.
Oh,
they went from nose to tail, and they went off the side in a rainbow style. Do you remember it?
Oh, no.
Porsche 963.
963. That's the right one.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about.
He did show it to us. Well, we had a motor in that released some smoke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It didn't break the digital chip, but it went really, really slow on the track. Just suddenly, doing laps, it went slowly. It started to go slowly, and we took it back to the bench, popped it on the let's call it a power track, but it's actually a box where we can elevate the wheels and plug in the controller to the box, which was also 12 volt. So we've got the thing running on the bench, and without the body shell on, he was squeezing the trigger, and the wheels were still turning, but very, very slowly, and he just held it for a few seconds, and the smoke came out. So we had a motor then that we took back to race control, and they just believed us and said, look, this one's let the smoke out. It's gone really, it was running, but it's done probably 70 laps of the track, and it's let the smoke out. And they had a sniff of the motor, and it was like, yeah, okay, here's another one. But that is an event where we were on a single motor handout. Obviously, the questions were like, what were you doing to it? What did you do to it? We did nothing. We popped it in the car and ran it. That was then. We did this year's different. We did some motor running on the bench this year. In fact, we did quite a lot. Because we this year we got some motor running juice, but that worked. When that motor hit the track, it was on the pace immediately, and it didn't change. It was already settled.
I didn't know Lucas made slot car motors.
Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas Electrics.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Prince
Because
of
that's
Darkness.
always letting the smoke out, is it?
Yeah,
That's,
there's
that's,
no
that's,
wires in Lucas Electrics. It's all magic, run by Magic Smoke.
yeah,
So
well, Lenny, that's
smoke
why
out.
that's why the British drink warm beer. They all have Lucas refrigerators.
I don't know where this must be historical.
It's for people who drive real cars. Get it? Yeah.
Well, people who have driven English cars. Anyway.
Oh God, yeah, yeah, no kidding.
There were
Exactly.
some Australians equipped with Lucas as well, but they quickly got replaced by Bosch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. You put Bosch stuff in, and it makes a world of difference.
Even if you put a Bosch rebuild in,
Yeah, exactly.
you can use the English parts and put a Bosch rebuild in, and they were better.
Have we gone full size again?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did anyone see, if we're on full size, did anyone see that there's been, I don't know whether it was already there. I never found it if it was, but there's been a release of the footage of the Monza race where they brought Indy cars and Grand Prix cars
Yeah,
together.
the race of a thousand.
Yeah, yeah. Well, don't forget, IndyCar actually used to count. Indy 500 used to count towards the Formula One World Championship.
Yes. That was known, but I'd never seen any footage of that Monza event. I knew about that event. I think it was 51 or 53. It was early 50s.
Well, yeah, because I think Fangio was in it as well as some other folks.
Somebody has released some here lately, and it's a promo film for Firestone, I think, Firestone tires.
The whole event was. There were questions right then and there because the track wasn't smooth. It was already bumpy. The question was, can the tyres survive? And so Firestone gave a handout tyre to all the teams. They even split the race in half. They gridded up for the second half so that all the teams could change tyres. But the tyres made it through the whole race. Only 8 cars actually finished. I think only a dozen started.
Yeah, that was using the Monza banking. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think most of the Europeans figured out pretty quickly that race was not going to favor them at all. And see, they had, I think it was 1957 is the year they made the film, and there were several D Jaguars, and I think there was maybe one Formula One Ferrari or ex Formula One Ferrari. 1 year removed from the frontier, but the rest of them, I'm pretty sure, were Indy cars.
Yep, they're Indy roadsters. You're absolutely right. Yeah,
running methanol, brew fuels, and that kind of stuff. But
that's true.
It's pretty cool. It's an interesting film.
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen it on YouTube be there, but I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah.
Aura Films, isn't it? It's a Portuguese guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
It's a good YouTube channel, one worth subscribing to for people like us.
Well, there's a slot car sort of thing you can try and recreate doing that. That would be fun.
It's been done. There was a disco race in Italy called Mega Monza, where they built a Monza banking.
Oh.
Let me go back to my browser and find that.
Yeah, please.
I'll share that when I find it. Yeah.
Because honestly, when I think of Monza and a slot car track, I think of Dewan's favorite brand, Revell.
That's it.
Oh, there you go. Yep, that was it. Yep, I did watch it. Yep.
Actually,
that was the full-size one.
Sorry, say again.
Back to the Lucas problem. I found this.
Yeah, positive Earth only. That's funny. That's very funny.
So you can get replacement smoke.
Yeah.
Great. We could all use some of that.
For sure.
If you're not sure, Wayne, Lucas were famous for burning their wiring out back in the 50s and 60s.
Got you. So this is all I found so far. Okay, this was the initial announcement, I think, but this is when it took place, May 2017, and it was LMP2 and GT cars, no LMP1s at the time there, and I'm crossing my fingers now that no, you see, there was an announcement, and now I need to find the track. I need to find the track because you just need to see it. It's so impressive.
So did you rate? Did you participate?
No, I didn't. I don't think I wasn't involved in disco racing, but if I wasn't involved in slot car racing, and my slot car racing return began in 2017. So I'm looking at a slot forum thread now on the event, see if I can find any pictures in there. There's clearly lots of chit chat.
Now, was it a 24-hour race?
I don't actually know, you know. I'm gonna.
Okay.
It might come to light. They built a banking, basically. They built a wooden banking, but they came off of it so damn fast that the next chicane, I think, was problematic, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my word!
So it was a wood track, or was it Ninko and wood?
It was Ninko and combination.
Ah.
All right. Let me find pictures. I've actually found a picture of a piece of test banking track, but I'm only on page 4 of 8 pages. So I just need to keep moving forward, see if I find any photographs.
Now, is there any progress with having a DISCA type race in the US yet? I know there was some talk about that.
James has gone silent.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Didn't
So
mean to.
the answer is we don't know yet.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Right. Okay. So I update. I found some little attachments here. So we've clearly got the layout on the floor in a room, and look at the size of the damn thing. Doesn't even look like it's wood, does it? But I'm pretty sure these are adapter pieces here. This is all Ninko. It's got Ninko borders and whatnot. You can see the sectional aspect of the track on there.
And this was a digital track then?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They ran a digital endurance on it. I'll carry on looking at. That looks like video to me. Oh, it is. I don't know whether that's moving for you. But the car just flashed around the outside of the banking.
Pretty good, actually.
I think that's just one clip that's repeating. And I think that's the same. And that's the same.
What are they doing putting chicanes in on that track?
Now, where was this held, Wayne?
Italy.
Okay. Those don't look like digital cars, though.
That one's not, but it is in the same configuration as LMP2 was in the time. Flat 6 inline.
That's a 3D print.
Yeah.
It had a 2017 posting date on it.
Yeah, 2017.
Oh, it looks like, hang on, it looks like Gio was involved in it.
Yeah. I don't know if he's attended, but he's in the thread. He doesn't miss much, come on. There we go. That's cool, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That looks like that's a basketball court.
It is.
Yeah.
So there's your scale. You can tell from that how big it is, can't you? And it's got both banks, look.
Holy crap.
Now, what period is that exactly? When did they race on that?
The last, and for Formula One, it was in 1961. No, hang on, no, before 61. Shoot, that's right, because 61 they didn't use the banking. It had to be 1960 or 59, and then they stopped.
They only used it like once or twice, didn't they, for F1?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. It was just too much.
Yeah, and in the movie.
And in the movie,
Yeah.
that's right.
Grand
Yeah.
Prix.
That was 66 or 7. But
66, yeah, but that would but not for the actual race though. They used it just for the movie, as Jim said.
I've seen
So
some
the running
pictures.
direction then was right to left down the main straight, wasn't it?
Correct.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And did
And
they
then,
have?
and then you switched into the banking off of
So
Parabolica.
you came off the chicane into the bank then?
Yeah, so you go through Parabolica
Yeah.
down the straight, and then you go through the banking. That's
So that's
the way
Parabolica, and this runs
yeah.
in front of the pits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So effectively, you came past the pits twice per lap, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And it
wasn't that
plug
just a
right into the
common
bank.
Wasn't that just a common straightaway? I guess it was the
Yeah.
honor
Yeah,
system.
It
where
was,
they
yeah. On the
uh,
actual track, you're absolutely right.
cut half the track on the honor system.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the banking that lap.
Yeah.
Oh, there was some sort of divider there, wasn't there?
No, I've seen footage,
Yeah.
and they literally came down the same straight.
There might have been for that race. There's some kind of divider or something, but
I think
Oh,
they
what
walked
about you?
towards the ends of the straights so that you couldn't come off and be directly in the way. It might have been a line of cones, but I think there was at each end.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can find out how long the race was, because that's May. It looks like it might even be in setup at that stage.
I was
I've
gonna
seen
say,
running in May.
yeah.
seen some pictures of Chaparral 2F and the Ferrari 330 P3 4s running on the banking. So that was 1968. I don't know how what other times the big sports cars used it. But
Yeah, I think they used it later for sports cars than Formula One. Formula One they stopped, and it had to be late 50s, early 60s.
Okay. It ran. Here's chrono. Dare I start the video? There it is from a different angle. Look how many drivers you could fit alongside that. You probably get all 20 on that. I doubt there was that many, but it'd be interesting to find out. Where's the next page? Oh, there it is, 6 of 8. So there's 2 more.
yeah. So the whole thread is from 2017.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
There's no
looks like there are a
results
lot of
announced.
photo
Photo
buckets.
bucket.
Yeah,
Good old
yeah.
photo bucket.
It's now photo kick the bucket.
Mine too.
I keep getting emails from them telling me they're going to delete my account. But
Yeah, and
And
you've
I
got
say,
to
go ahead.
pay to get out your pictures now.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there's some pictures.
make my day.
There's somebody we know, Gary Skip.
Yeah.
And Tamar. And that's Leonard. I know Leonard. He used to race back then. He was a teammate of mine for a Le Mans 24 hour.
Should try and get Gary back on to talk about it.
I tell you what, everybody looks young.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you look back.
This is Sebastian. I know Sebastian. He doesn't look like that nowadays.
I noticed last time Gary was on, he finally got that mustache to grow.
Yeah, it only took from 2017.
I won't comment. We're trying to build teams for the Paul Ricard 24 hour in June at the moment. And it's a competition before we even get there. It's a competition of finding drivers, because I know that Gary has a team, Sports Car Racing, and on the way home from Suzuka, we were trying to recruit him. Obviously, no, I didn't find out. I'll stop the share, and I'll see if I find out another way. We're trying to recruit him to join Gio and I again in June. Obviously, you're just going to do it, aren't you? And actually, it was my missus that decided to do it. I knew there was no chance because he's the captain of a team himself. And right now, Gio and Yoda and I are scratching around trying to contact people to join us. We are a 3-man team at the moment. We haven't got a fourth and a fifth. We're not going to go and try and do 24 hours with 3 of us.
Courtney will go.
I hope so.
Due to my international status, I'm probably
Not allowed to leave the States.
That's right. Ever since the incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still have your passport?
Yeah, but they tried to take it and I ran. So I still have it, but I don't
Well,
know if it's working.
I also understand that's why you may have an aversion to silicone, but I'll say no more.
I understand Gene Haas, the man behind Haas Formula One, is in the same position. He's in reality and not allowed to attend the races. Doesn't because for that reason.
I just don't think people like him. That's all.
I refresh my memory. I don't remember what the deal was.
Courtney's deal?
I don't know. I have no idea. No idea.
My deal was totally made up. I had a I was a former hitman, and back in '72 I took out somebody I shouldn't have, and you can't really say
You weren't in Dealey Plaza then.
Hey, accidents happen.
So that third eye controller's named after you?
Yeah. No, my code name was Green Light because once they gave me the green light, I'm a shooter. What can I say?
No turning back.
No turning back.
You could use all of that and be a hockey player at the same time.
I could, of course, though, if they got into a fight with the U.S., it might be throwdown in 9 seconds. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was
He
awesome.
likes his teeth too much for that.
It now seems like a reasonable time if you want to end the stream, and then we can freely discuss the Formula One launch.
Yeah,
from
well,
last
okay,
night.
but first let's get a shout out for Wayne, who needs a 24-hour digital racer to join his team. Where should they send their applications, first of all?
Well, it's not difficult to find me.
Okay, there you go.
They can join the chat, but it's I'm Reflex UK on Slot Forum, and I've got a YouTube channel called Car Fun Mostly, and any mechanism that will get to me will work.
There you are. So there we go. And that's a great place to end it. I hope. Well, we'll see you all next week then.